it's addictive. It's addictive. Ren make you cry. Ren gonna make you cry. He make you feel your feelings whether you want to feel them or not. Welcome back to Steveisms with Steven. I'm Steve. And as you can see, I did a poll recently to see what I should react to next, and it was overwhelming. With 301 votes, 64% of you guys said I should continue with Vincent's tale. So I'm excited. That's what we're doing today. We're going to dive right into this and see where the tale goes. I really like the idea of using these polls to kind of gauge where we want to go next. There are some that I'm going to throw in just because I feel like it. But yeah, I'm excited, man. Let's see where Vinny is. So last I heard, Vincent was arrested for essentially stabbing a dude with, not essentially, he did, stabbing a dude with a broken bottle in a fight. And our boy Richard was the one who arrested him. So I didn't see any shorts or anything like that I needed to watch ahead of time. So I'm not sure if there's more to the story than that. So I'm hoping that we'll find out with the continuation of Vincent's tale. And before we jump into it, just a quick reminder for those of you who have seen my stuff before, and a heads up for those of you who haven't. What I like to do is try to watch through it all once with minimal commentary and then go back and break things down line by line. Depending on how much this story moves me, I may find that I dive straight in. Because I know that a lot of people want to hear the song, the good news is I keep the song link in the description, so feel free to check that out if you haven't already. But now, without further ado, let's jump into the bedroom. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Without further ado, let's jump into Vincent's tale. Ooh, we have an officer. Ooh. So it sounds like it's inside of somewhere, like it's muffled. That's neat. And the sound of the feet on the concrete.
I made a rhyme.
This is wild already. Cool, cool. Dudes. We have the same mic. That's awesome. Okay, cool. So I just noticed something already and I had to pause it. First of all, this guy shreds. I knew that he could play some wicked acoustic guitar, and I've heard him play a little bit of electric guitar. I've heard him play quite a bit on the Asylum album, but this is insane. Also, check it out. We have Sunflowers and we have Self-Portrait. Ha. His Easter egg. See, you guys did this to me. You can't be mad at me for pausing it. You guys told me he puts a lot of Easter eggs in these videos. So now I can't help it when I see him. It's your fault, not mine.
Have you ever felt anger with nowhere to place it? Vincent felt cold, neglected and jaded, impotent, empathy castrated. Look for the new thing, always look for the new thing, but never look inside, never look within, without, above, below, same thing. Wait, it gets deeper than that. The insane thing is sane men living in insane terrain, contorn insane brains that are kind of deranged, strange, without the factor of cause and effect. Factually, the man's a casualty of constant neglect. Let's start at the start. Vincent was born in the dark, home birth to a mother painting scars on her arm. Track march from the dragon, China white in the palm. Shooting up the birth canal, Vinny fell out like yarn. Tumbled out, himself unraveling, and that was the theme. Exceptionally average grade, sprayed with low self-esteem. From the fire to the frying pan, painting it green. When it's the cash that rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, funny Vinny. He weren't ever good at hustling, shitty jobs that he was dead and stocking. Started a combustion, nothing. Pulled him out of debt, the debt collector's rushing to be stripping him of everything. Eventually, there's nothing. The cycle is a cycle for a psychopath on ice. The day repeats.
Holy shit. It's classic Ren. I've got the chills. I mean, first of all, no, I can't even say first of all. The way that he tells the story and he sucks you into it. And let's start at the start. Whereas in the original, in Screech's Tales, it was we have to start at the end. So it's the themes and the way that he weaves things together is so sick. This also answers the question that obviously he is not Vincent van Gogh, but maybe the Vincent represents the artist inside of him, the starving artist inside of him, the the Vincent van Gogh lookalike. It's fascinating seeing him go through all of this, but that last line made me stop. I gotta hear it.
Eventually, there's nothing. The cycle is a cycle for a psychopath on ice.
The cycle is a cycle for the psychopath on ice. The cycle is a cycle for the psychopath on ice. Wow. I have to just listen to this. I thought I was going to break it down line by line early. I can't. This is going to be a minute.
Of everything. Eventually, there's nothing. The cycle is a cycle for a psychopath on ice. The day repeats, the days are weeks, the weeks are most your life. When the day's done, it's the same one. It's a repeat, it's a rerun. A deja vu religion, a foreboding of a prison. Whole Britain, Great Britain, how Britannia ruled the waves. We started out with intentions and we ended up like slaves. Drink to kill the tension, but the drinks cost your wage. What helps you is what kills you when you're living too decay.
Ooh. Wow. What helps you is what kills you when you're living to decay.
And so it goes. Vinny starts to drink to let go. Soon he's drinking, cause when he don't drink, every day is a day on death row. So he drinks so we don't have to think. Mercy, days bittersweet. When the spirit that's inside of him sinks in his teeth, and the months turn over, May to October. More days pissed than the days he spent sober. Skin looks older, demeanor gets colder. Sledgehammer swing to that chip on your shoulder. A cold prison deep in alcoholism. 40% proof, no juice. Inhibition get loose, bad decision and taboos. When we're living for the booze, who's who he lose himself to? 1 too many, 1 2 3 shots down. Drown those sorrows up in London town. If we in for a penny, we in for a pound. Fate comes full circle. Now it's Vinny boys round.
This has been insane. If you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. You know, if you're going to spend a penny, you might as well spend $1. And if you're going to spend $1, you might as well spend 10. And if you're going to spend 10, you might as well spend it all. Okay, let's keep going. I like that it ended with the bedroom. And if we look at this, so just looking at this picture, obviously, you know, he's supposed to be in prison, but I did notice it's got a window that was very similar. There's the painting here of the sunflowers, the painting of what looks like self-portrait. And then there was, I don't know if there was a table, but there was definitely a cloth hanging up on the wall. So they mirrored his cell to the bedroom painting, which I think is just awesome. So good. You guys told me that Richard's Tale was in here, but I can't even tell you. I am so... If you haven't seen it yet, go back and watch my... I watched all of the shorts before Sunflower or Self-Portrait, and I am so invested in this, man. I can't wait to see how this goes. Oh, this is so cool. I also kind of want to know where I'm just going to watch it. I want to know where this picks up. Like, does this start from his perspective when he killed Screech, or is this when he arrests Vincent? Like, what is going on?
Siren starts singing.
He just erased Vincent, I bet. Well, no, because that's not the same outfit as Vincent. Okay, stop, Steve. Just watch.
The screws murder silence. Stand on my Miranda, my right to remain violent. One man's resistance is another man's tyrant. When tyrants make the law, they go to war with non-compliance. Locked up, Vinny been locked up since his mother knocked up. Kitty grew up fast, pulled his socks up. Chop, chop, keep that credit top, top. Time is money, tick tock. Quantify the price upon your soul and then it's chop shop. Not particularly special, Vinny spent his life a vessel for the musings of the devil. Repetition caused some issues, turned a hide into a jackal. Building pressure in the kettle, bubble up to boiling level. Ooh man, he's a mad lad, falling on the warpath. Vinny split the atom like a Nagasaki bloodbath. Skies are raining black ash, copper car lights flash. Red and blue kaleidoscope, some folks don't like that. Never mind, just a victim of society. The one that serves you alcohol and sells you your sobriety. The one that sells you sex as it pedestals virginity. The one where we elect these lying pests with Gullibility. 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 1. Our boy spun his own web-fed tarantulas come like 9 to the 9 to the 9. For his crimes timelines intersect. Rich's fate was designed.
Flashing back to Screech. This is really cool. So we got a little bit more background of Vinny and just how deep that goes. We're back in the alley now. And before on the short, you actually got to see him check his pulse and call it in, but it was from his perspective. So now we're getting an outside perspective narrated by Ren, who I can't tell if it's like Vincent type of, I don't know. It's a narration and it's cool. This is just awesome.
Paint the picture, set the scene. It's 2019. Richard and a boy named Screech. The hands of fate, they touch and read. Siblings buried, blood it bleeds. Etched in Richard's memories. Falls a muddled, troubled sleep. Takes a time of absent leave. Hitting the bottle to soften the blow in the walls of yourself, and there's nowhere to go. When his friends on the force, they don't call, they don't show. Go to therapy, regularly seem to plateau. When his Popo went loco and woe so low that his mojo no more, no rebound, no yo-yo. And so the time it moves slow-mo. You see the case was never closed, cause the motive was confusing. Orphan killed his sister, but his sister was removed when the mother died in childbirth, but dying womb life brings. The cycle of Samsara always was quite amusing. Brother killed his sister, but the record seemed to show the brother never met his sister, didn't even know. So the tragedy was a catastrophe, a fate fucked up. Rich is losing sleep while his whole family's talked up.
Okay, hold up. So if you have not seen the shorts that happened before Sunflowers and Self-Portrait, go back and watch those, because seeing this from another perspective is so freaking cool. It's showing his struggles with alcoholism. He's finally... I'm going to go back and show you this just because it was very creepy. The wife popped in to talk to him, and she looked almost like an alien.
The brother never met his sister, didn't even know. So the tragedy was a catastrophe, a fate fucked up. Rich is losing sleep while his whole family's talked up.
Okay, I guess I missed it, but that's okay. We'll go back.
The 5 stages of grief is a common psychological model, often used to provide reassurance to all those stricken by loss. For loss comes with a cost like frostbite, shockingly cold, paving the road to decomposure, decomposing your soul. 1. Denial, pretending for a while, reality retired, but everything is changing. Richie lost the will to smile, how to reconcile when murdering a child. The 2nd stage is anger, feel it bubbling the bile. Anger, damn the man that served the hand that wrote the plan. If God is will that's good and grand, then damn we are all a damn forsaken by creation. Revelations Richard cannot stand. The 3rd stage is bargaining, begging God for second chance. Lord, I know it is a reach, but I'm begging on my knees. Resurrect the boy James, resurrect the boy Screech. I'll devote my life to thee, I will live a life of peace. Stage 4 is depression, that's a lesson taught in grief. Depression, demonic like possession, that feeds upon this spark for life. No water is refreshing, no sunlight brings him warmth, no sleep will ever bring resting. His guilt and doubt are oh so loud, the silence sounds so deafening. Depression, the numbing of expression, the negative obsession, ruminating in oppression. Stressing is a lesson when your mind begins reflecting. That's stage number 5. 5 is acceptance.
Wow. It's this is a masterclass in grief. We're gonna go back and break this down in a little bit, but holy crap. Oh my God. I'm not gonna lie, I've got tissues handy, but I was fighting back some tears for a minute there. Last time we saw this spot, it was him yelling at his daughter. Acceptance.
Souls get shaken up. The road's never quite ideal. But slow rise, dust it off. And let me tell you something, Richie, man, I'm proud. Cause you pulled a stitch from the seam, the wound was open weeping. Felt like a regression, but that flesh was sat for healing. You wrestled imperfections, misdirections, what with demons. Most demons are a fallen angel, truth has double meanings. Perspective disconnects the trauma, trauma turns to lessons. The biggest curse you'll ever face could be your greatest blessing. Remember, in the darkest times, no need for second guessing. No path is ever linear, a stumble leads to stepping. You're a soldier, a scholar of life's sorrow, and day follows day. There will always be tomorrow when it gets colder. Whatever, it's only weather. Rain feeds the crops, let them grow, think clever. I'm so fucking proud of you, Richie, my boy. I know you're itchy, my boy, to get to work and deploy. Serve and protect my don, in for the right reason. I know you think you've done wrong, but look at who you become. It's your first day at work, big man. Hold that head up high, my friend. Come on. We're all proud of you, Richie. I hope you get out there and smash it. I mean, what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? I could have put my tissues out of reach. That could have gone wrong. Man. These are fictional characters, but they represent, you know, real people. I know that the tale of Jenny and Screech was based on a very real story in the UK, and the article was
such a shame.
And that inspired Ren to write the tales of Jenny and Screech. But in diving into that, the depth, it's like I want to say case study, but it's not a case study. It's like a psychological study. Like they could show these tales in college, in uni. They could show these tales and have real lessons extracted from them, showing that not only, I mentioned this in the last one, but there's such a butterfly effect of everything that happens. And, you know, 2019 is when it happened. We don't know what year this is, but seeing him go through it, God. And can we just take a minute to give this actor his flowers? Like in the last one, Vincent, our Vincent Van Gogh, he got his flowers for sure, but this is insane. All right, we only have a second left, so let's hear it out. Ooh. Wow. So, this has been crazy. What a wild emotional roller coaster. Ren make you cry. Ren gonna make you cry. He make you feel your feelings, whether you want to feel them or not. It's so wild just seeing the layers of anger and depression and frustration. We're gonna dive into these lyrics, but just such a masterful storytelling. He's created this world with these fictional characters that there's no logical reason that, other than having human empathy, that we should care about these characters or what they're going through. But yet somehow, not only has he made them likable, but you invest in them psychologically. You want them to do well. You want to find out what happens to them. It's like a soap opera. You want to find out what happens next. It's addictive. It's addictive, and it's so wild. Like, I have so many lyrics that I'm going to have to break down on this one. It's going to end up being a long video. Fair warning. But yeah, holy cow. Now, so for our deep dive, we're literally going to take this frame by frame in some cases, because I know there's so many little details, and I know for a fact there's so much lyrical breakdown I really want to get into. So thanks for the first watch through with me. Stick around for the second, because I promise you it's about to get deep. Okay, so we start with Baldy McBalderson here. Swear to God, if that had a, if this guy had a barcode tattoo on his neck, I'd think he was the hitman coming to take him out. I mentioned it before, but I think it's really cool the way that the attention to detail here in terms of the muffled sound. Like, it's impossible that he would be in a prison cell like this and be given access to the things he's got access to. So the idea here, the deeper idea here in my mind, is that Vincent is having to be forced to think about things and really think hard about where his life is and how it happened this way, and so he's imagining himself playing guitar, maybe. I don't know. He looks like such a small child here. This furthers my theory there that this is all in his head. And the reason I say that is that it looked like he was praying when he walked in, right? When the guard walks in, it looks like he's playing, but you notice he's actually looping things on whatever that foot pedal thing is right there. It looks like he's looping things. So interesting. The way he hits this whammy bar reminds me, I'm such a nerd, reminds me of Guitar Hero with that whammy. I mean, I went hard on the whammy bar on Guitar Hero. I'm going to be real with you. I really did. Granted, this is no Guitar Hero guitar, but bro plays it like he's a Guitar Hero. Mad respect. First time we're pausing. If you look in the background here, it looks like he's got some pills on the table here. We also can see a chair. He's got a table and he's got this towel. Now, the reason I'm pointing all this out is because, as I said in my first watch through, I think that they totally staged this room as much as they could to be like the bedroom painting. I mean, look at his face as he emotes this. Okay, hold on. We probably could have seen the painting. I'm going to go back. Right about here, maybe? Okay, yeah. See, we can't really see what this painting is. If anybody knows, tell me in the comments, will you? I'm curious. Also, is it just me or does it look like there's like some kind of a latch here where he could easily like clip it and then just climb out the window? I know that's not what it is, but yeah, it's funny. I just noticed that.
Anger. Have you ever felt anger?
That must be it right there. That must be the one that we couldn't see before. Have you ever felt anger? I have. Yeah, I don't know which, if that's a Vincent painting or what. I feel like I kind of want to screen grab it and search it, but yeah, that's awesome.
With nowhere to place it, Vincent felt cold, neglected and jaded, impotent, empathy castrated, look for the new thing, always look for the new thing, but never look inside, never look within, without, above, below, same thing.
Wait, it gets deeper than that. No, seriously, it's going to get deeper than that because I'm breaking these lyrics down. So what's interesting is he's like, have you ever felt anger and you don't have anywhere to place it? You know, they say screaming into a pillow or punching a pillow. For me personally, I like to go to the gym and do cardio boxing, right? That's my way to vent frustration. And here's where it's about to get deep, guys. I have a boxing partner that I work with, but when he's not there, a lot of times when I'm hitting the heavy bag, I'm thinking about doubt and frustration and any negative self-talk. I'm literally trying to punch it out of my system so that all that's left is power and positivity. I know it sounds cheesy, but I don't know. For me, for some reason, it seems to really help. It seems to work. He also talks about how he's essentially saying Vincent's bored. You know, he doesn't have enough stimulus. And I'm going to go back and look at these lyrics, and I'll pause as we go. But yeah.
Ever felt anger with nowhere to place it? Vincent felt cold, neglected, and jaded, impotent.
It's interesting. Cold, neglected, and jaded. A lot of people want to feel seen. They want to feel heard. I've said it before. I say it every video. You cannot pause and not get a good Ren face. I mean, look at this. This is like, anyway, I digress. It's interesting because it goes beyond and deeper than the whole feeling cold and neglected, but he literally says impotent and castrated. So it's attacking his manhood.
Empathy castrated, look.
Empathy castrated. So that's a little bit deeper too. Okay, so here's the part where he's talking about look for the new thing. So he's always looking for stimulus. And the question is, what happens when you turn that off, when you don't have access to that stimulus? You know, there's so much dopamine being shot into our brains every day with technology that it's a lot of people won't take the time to look inside or to think deep or to pray or to meditate, to slow down and just kind of tune out the electronics. I'm guilty too. I don't have them on me right now, but I almost always have Shox headphones. They're almost always being worn by me, and it's so that I can listen to my own soundtrack all the time. It's wild how much these things are on my head. These are bone conduction headphones, so I'm sure it's causing all kinds of long-term problems, but it's an example of how if I'm not plugged into something, and I know this is probably you too, if it's not, God bless you, but if I'm not plugged into something, my brain looks for trouble. Or looks for something, any kind of stimulus, right?
For the new thing, always look for the new thing, but never look inside, never look within, without, above, below, same thing. Wait, it gets deeper than that. The insane thing is sane man living in insane terrain.
So in other words, if you're a product of your environment, right? It's nature as much as nurture in this case, right? So if you are surrounded by chaos and craziness, how do you stay sane? And the funny thing is, this video came out, I don't know how long ago, but in the latest album, Asylum, the title track Asylum, actually the chorus has a line like that. In an insane world, when the whole world is an asylum, how do you stay sane? And that's a really good question.
Wait, it gets deeper than that. The insane thing is sane man living in insane terrain, contort insane brains that are kind of deranged.
Brains that are kind of deranged.
Without the factor of cause and effect.
Without the factor of cause and effect. Factually, the man's a casualty of constant neglect. So you have to really take things into consideration and say, okay, if this is the way he is, how did he get to be this way? What caused him to be this way? And it says he's a casualty of constant neglect. So it gets deeper in a minute, talking about how his childhood is, but also, you know, a man, I say man as in the royal term. I mean, all humanity. Humans are social creatures. We can't be neglected for very long. Yes, many of us need our alone time, and we need our quiet time. We need time for us. We need to do what relaxes us. So for example, for me right now, recording this is my creative outlet. I need that because all day I'm doing really high level analytical stuff, but it's like marketing analysis, and it's strategy analysis, and long-term planning and that sort of thing. It's executive level stuff. So when I can kind of shift my brain into a different direction and take that moment to not neglect myself by enjoying and learning from a new experience with you guys, with Ren, with these videos, it's good for me. But also, you know, if a person feels alone, that's one of the worst things in the world. I mean, solitary confinement is a real thing, obviously, in prisons, but it's horrible being neglected and alone, and it can cause all kinds of problems.
Actually, the man's a casualty of constant neglect. Let's start at the start.
Let's start at the start. I'm going to put it this way. I mean, I believe that in the Jenny and Screech Tales, it says you have to start at the end, right? This is Vincent, and he was born in the dark.
Vincent was born in the dark, home birth to a mother, painted scars on her arm.
Paint scars on her arm. So that makes me wonder if it's scars like slit wrists, right? Or what does that mean? It could mean track marks from the dragon. I know that's a slang term. I don't know what it's for. I assume that it's H, it's a hard drug, or something along those lines. So his mother was an addict, it seems.
March from the dragon, China white in the palm.
China white in her palm. See, at first that makes me think of this is how you can tell I'm a square. Like that I don't do any hard drugs or anything like that. Sorry.
China white in the palm, shooting up the birth canal. Vinny fell out like yarn, tumbled out, himself unraveling, and that was the theme. Exceptionally average grace.
Ooh. Okay, we're going to back up because that is deep. Fell out like yarn.
Vinny fell out like yarn.
Tumbled out, self-unraveling, and that was the theme. So that's interesting because it's like, you know, when you don't have anybody to bounce ideas off of, when you don't have anybody to talk to, you know, I think that this is partially why working from home from COVID seemed like such a great idea at the start, but then it caused a lot of mental health issues because you start unraveling. You start going down rabbit holes that are not good, that are not Ren rabbit holes, that are actually very detrimental to your mental health.
Tumbled out, himself unraveling, and that was the theme. Exceptionally average grades.
Exceptionally average grades. So it's like, he has great average grades, right? Sprayed with low self-esteem.
With low self-esteem, from the fire to the frying pan, painting it green.
From the fire to the frying pan, you know, you jump out of the fire, from the fire to the frying pan. Okay, so that's interesting. Usually it's another flip, you know. In the last one, there was a flip like that. It was saying he was the storm before the calm. And from the fire to the frying pan, usually it's you jump out of the frying pan, the hot spot, and into the actual fire. Vinny started in the fire, so even when he jumped out, he was still getting cooked. It was just a little slower.
When it's the cash that rules everything around me, cream get the
cream. I'm gonna listen to that one again. I've got to listen to that one again.
When it's the cash that rules everything around me, cream get.
When it's the cash that rules everything around me, cream, and it's cash rules everything around me. It literally is cream, which I think, if I remember correctly, was Wu-Tang Clan circa 1993. Yeah, that sounds about right. Anyway.
It's the cash that rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, funny Vinny. He weren't ever good at hustling, shitty jobs that he was dead and stocking, started a combustion, nothing.
He was never really good at anything. He wasn't a good hustler. Money was everything, but he couldn't really do anything with it. And even the dead-end jobs, like he just really couldn't get anywhere with them. And it says started a combustion. So, you know, every fire within somebody starts somewhere, right?
Then pulled him out of debt. The debt.
Nothing pulled him out of debt, but the debt collectors keep coming. You know, it's the money struggle that we all deal with. And yes, before you say it, I know you're saying it. And in fact, if you're at this point, comment Money Game, because I know it's on the list. I want to do Money Game 1 through 3, and probably 4 separately. But I hear you. I know. I haven't done it yet, but when he's talking about money like this, I have to imagine it has something to do with Money Game.
Started a combustion, nothing. Pulled him out of debt. The debt collector's rushing to be stripping him of everything. Eventually, there's nothing. The cycle is a cycle for a psychopath on ice. The day repeats, the days are weeks, the weeks are most short life.
The days are weeks, the weeks. This man is such a cool poet.
It's a cycle for a psychopath on ice. The day repeats, the days are weeks, the weeks are most short life. When the day's done, it's the same one. It's a repeat, it's a rerun, a deja vu religion.
Oh my God. So this is so great because what it's doing is it's breaking down literally the end of Sunflower, right? It's breaking down that monotonous cycle that's enough to drive anybody crazy, right? Day in, day out is the same thing. It's Groundhog's Day. You wake up and it's the same damn thing in and out. There's nothing changing, nothing to stimulate or motivate you. It's the doldrum. It's the 9 to 5. And no matter how hard you work, you still got those debt collectors coming.
A foreboding of a prison, whole Britain, Great Britain, how Britannia ruled the wave. We started out with intentions and we ended up like slaves.
Started out with intentions and ended up like slaves, working 9 to 5.
Drink to kill the tension, but the drinks cost your wage.
Ooh, drink to kill the tension, but the drinks cost your wage. In other words, you spend all of your money rather than on the bills and things like that. You spend it just trying to dull the pain, just to try and escape. And that's true for all kinds of addictions. Like I'm addicted to video games. You know, I waste so much money on stuff on my phone, or I have in the past.
Trying to get better about that.
But it's like whatever you're addicted to, it takes all your money, you know?
And we ended up like slaves. Drink to kill the tension, but the drinks cost your wage. What helps you is what kills you when you're living too deep.
I love the way he says these things, too. When you're living to decay. Ugh. That's a man who has actually had some pretty strong alcohol in the past. You can tell just from the looks on his face.
And so it goes. Vinny starts to drink to let go. Soon he's drinking, cause when he don't drink, every day is a day on death row.
So what's interesting is we have a parallel here. And I'll get further into this in a minute when we do Richard's Tale, because I noticed this when I watched through. But he's drinking to numb the pain, because when he doesn't, he just feels like he's in hell anyway. So why wouldn't you drink? Oh.
So we drink so we don't have to think. Mercy, taste bittersweet. When the spirit that's inside of him sinks in his teeth.
Oh my God, super chills. First of all, his guitar playing is heavenly, but also when the spirit that's inside of him sinks in its teeth. The spirit being the alcohol, but also like his own spirit begging to be set free. Oh my God. Thank you, Ren, for just being you, man.
And the months turn over, May to October. More days pissed than the days he spent sober.
He's spending more of his life.
By pissed, the American vernacular, pissed usually means angry. However, in this case, pissed is the British vernacular, meaning that he is drunk. Now, that being said, or wasted in some way. That being said, in this case, I think it works as a double entendre because it is both he is angry, but he's also drunk.
Skin looks older, demeanor gets colder. Sledgehammer swing to that chip on your shoulder.
Ooh. Sledgehammer swing to that chip on your shoulder.
Older, demeanor gets colder. Sledgehammer swing to that chip on your shoulder. A cold prison deep in alcoholism. 40% proof, no juice. Inhibition get loose. Bad decision and taboos when we're living for the booze.
Bad decisions and taboos when we're living for the booze. Who's who?
Who's who? He lose himself to 1, 2 many 1, 2, 3 shots down. Drown those sorrows up in London town. If we in for a penny, we in for a pound. Fate comes full circle. Now it's Vinny boys round.
If there's a jump there, it's because I had to cut out an ad. I got to tell you, the only thing that makes those ads worth it is knowing that the ads go to Ren. The money goes to Ren. Okay, so now we can actually see, this is kind of interesting. In his room, it looks like there is some little tinctures here, which you know, tinctures are like pills back in the day, right? And then, of course, we have the painting. In this case, it was a sketch of a doorway, looked like a prison door. And possibly sunflowers. You know, I don't think that's what that's supposed to be, but it looks like it. We've got a self-portrait. Another picture here. They did a really good job of making this little prison room look like a mock-up of the bedroom painting. That's impressive, dude. That's awesome. I can't even tell you how excited I was when I saw this pop up. I mean, you probably saw it on my face. Ugh. But I will tell you this, I was really surprised that it started with such a hip-hop vibe for Richard. I was not expecting that. Now, I do like that Richard's tale seems to have several parts to it, like many of these tales do. And so I was glad that it's like different styles in each of them, but this is so cool. Now, I still haven't figured out what the passenger Ren here is all about. You can see that. See, look at that. He looks like Ghostface right now. Can't pause at a bad time with Ren. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I feel like this is his instead of dark passenger, his light passenger. You know what I mean? Like, we see him in this white gear, and we know it's not really Vincent necessarily, but it's definitely our narrator, and it's kind of interesting. I don't know if it's supposed to be just like maybe I'm looking too deep into it. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. What does this version of Ren represent to Richard?
Singing as the screws murder silence. Stand on my Miranda, my right to remain violent.
Again, circumventing expectations. Instead of saying my right to remain silent, he says my right to remain violent. So good.
Singing as the screws murder silence. Stand on my Miranda, my right to remain violent. One man's resistance is another man's tyrant. When tyrants make the law, they go to war with non-compliance.
Ooh, that is cool. That is cool. One man's resistance is another man's tyrant.
Resistance is another man's tyrant. When tyrants make the law, they go to war with non-compliance.
When tyrants make the law, they go to war with non-compliance. Ooh. Damn.
Locked up, Vinny been locked up since his mother knocked up. Kitty grew up fast, pulled his socks up, chop chop. Keep that credit top. Time is money, tick tock. Quantify the price upon your soul and then it's chop shop.
So this is interesting. Even though this is Richard's tale, we're still getting a little bit of Vinny's history, right? It's tying it together very well. Basically saying that his whole life he's had to just hustle whether he wanted to or not. Keep that credit topped up.
Knocked up, kitty grew up fast, pulled his socks up, chop chop. Keep that credit top. Time is money, tick tock. Quantify the price upon your soul and then it's chop shop. Not particularly.
Quantify the price upon your soul and then it's chop shop. That's wild. So everybody, your soul has a price, and when it's paid, there you go. You're getting chopped up. Ooh.
Quantify the price upon your soul and then it's chop shop. Not particularly special. Vinny spent his life a vessel for the musings of the devil. Repetition caused some issues, turned a hide into a jackal. Building pressure in the kettle, bubble up to boiling level. Ooh man, he's a mad lad, falling on the warpath. Vinny split the atom like a Nagasaki bloodbath.
I love this because it's again with these Ren faces. Wait, anyway. I mean, like, look at this. I'm just jumping back 5 seconds. Sorry. You guys are playing with me now. I don't even care. Vinny. So basically it's talking about how he's kind of succumbing to all of the sins and all of the sinful nature because he doesn't necessarily, I don't want to say it's because he doesn't have a positive guide in his life, but I think that kind of plays some part of it,
He spent his life a vessel for the musings of the devil. Repetition caused some issues, turned a hide into a jackal. Building pressure in the kettle.
And when that escapes.
Bubble up to boiling level. Ooh man, he's a mad lad, falling on the warpath. Vinny split the atom like a Nagasaki bloodbath. Skies are raining black ash, copper car lights flash. Red and blue kaleidoscope, some folks don't like that. Never mind, just a victim of society. The one that serves you alcohol and sells you your sobriety.
Just a victim of society. The one that feeds you alcohol, then sells you your sobriety. Oh.
Never mind, just a victim of society. The one that serves you alcohol and sells you your sobriety. The one that sells you sex as it pedestals virginity.
As it pedestals virginity.
The one where we elect these lying pests with Gullibility.
Oh, okay, so I misheard the lyric there. I thought it said the one where we elect these pests with God ability, but it says gullibility. So we're the gullible ones who are electing these people.
1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 1. Our boy spun his own web-fed tarantulas come like 9 to the 9 to the 9 for his crimes timelines intersect. Richard's fate was designed.
So now we're flowing into another part of his tale, and I love that. So this was mostly felt like a transitional thing between Vinny's story and Richard's. Interesting. I also think it's interesting that there's a sign in the background here that says no cameras. Oops. Well, I guess maybe it's not no cameras. It's, hey, this area is being monitored. Maybe that's it. Shut up, Steve.
Paint the picture, set the scene. It's 2019. Richard and a boy named Scream. Hands of fate, they touch and read. Siblings buried, blood it bleeds. Etched in Richard's memories. Force a model, troubled sleep. Takes a time of absently.
So it's talking about how Richard was really haunted by the fact that these two teenagers died. And we know now, because of the little mini side, clips, that it's because he had a daughter that was the same age. And so the idea that this kid who's the same age as his daughter killed a girl who was the same age as his daughter, and then he killed that kid, I mean, that would rack anybody's psyche, right? So what's he do? He's like, okay, I'm being forced to take leave. And we find that out. And the first thing he does when he takes leave, hitting the bottle to soften the blow in the walls of yourself, and there's no hitting the bottle when the war's with yourself and there's nowhere to go. Model troubled sleep takes a time of absently hitting the bottle to soften the blow in the walls of yourself, and there's nowhere to go. And his friends on the force, they don't call, they don't show. He's got all these friends that are supposed to be on the force, that are supposed to be there for him, and nobody's calling to check up on him. Again, this is what happens when you're forced to be in isolation, right? So you can either thrive in that and grow, or you can succumb to your deeper, darker urges, which in some cases leads to going down the road of addiction. And then the next line here talks about going to therapy regularly, but it, there's a law of diminishing returns in everything, right? So if he feels like he's not getting anything from it, then why the hell is he even going? That's his mentality, I think. Hitting the bottle to soften the blow in the walls of yourself, and there's nowhere to go. And his friends on the force, they don't call, they don't show. Go to therapy, raggedy, seem to plateau. When his Popo went loco and woe so low that his mojo no more. He's so fast. I gotta break these down. It's wild. They don't show. Go to therapy, raggedy, seem to plateau. When his Popo went loco and when this Popo went loco, in other words, when this cop went crazy, so low that his mojo no mo. Oh, man. Whoa, so low that his mojo no mo, no rebound, no yo-yo, and so the time it moves slow. No rebound, no yo-yo. The idea of going down, but then coming back up. There is no coming back up. That's cool. Went loco and whoa. In woe. Went loco and woe. So he went crazy in sadness. And that sadness was so deep, so low, that he didn't have any mojo left. Low that his mojo no mo, no rebound, no yo-yo, and so the time it moves slow-mo. You see the case was never closed because the motive was confusing. Orphan killed his sister, but his sister... Okay, earlier I was saying that it looked like some kind of monster was over him, and I know it's just because the wife here is in the shadow, but like, this is filmed very, very cool. Was removed when the mother died in childbirth, but dying womb life brings. The cycle of samsara always was quite amusing. The cycle of samsara really always was quite amusing. Wow. So the reason that I find the cycle of samsara line, and I didn't catch that the first time either, I find that really fascinating because, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I was born and raised Catholic, but I've studied up on all kinds of major religions. Right now, it's not necessarily religion, but more philosophy. I'm big into Stoicism, and I think that's why a lot of Ren's work resonates with me, but I digress. One of the most fascinating religions to me is Buddhism, or, those type of Indian faiths, or faiths from that region. And the cycle of samsara is the cycle of life, death, rebirth, and it's all driven by karma, ignorance, and desire. So to be more specific about that, when we say ignorance, I'm not talking about stupidity. I'm talking about questioning the true nature of reality, right? That kind of drives you into this cycle of samsara that's driven by karma. And it's also, it makes you think about like attachment. You want pleasant things, you want to hold on to those pleasant things, but the fact that you can't causes you pain. And then there's the other concept is aversion, which is where you're holding on to, you're hating or you're fighting against unpleasant things. So you're doing everything you can to steer clear of it. That's the aversion. And so his whole drinking, as heavily as he is to try and avoid really diving into that cycle of life, death, and rebirth, and just trying to be stuck in numbness, right? He doesn't want to face anything. And I find this, it's such a brilliant line, such a brilliant thing to throw into this, because it's its own little side story. So good. God bless you, Ren. Orphan killed his sister, but his sister was removed when the mother died in childbirth, but dying womb life brings. The cycle of samsara always... Dying womb life bring. So now, so that's a whole nother thing. Cycle of samsara are always quite amusing. So again, life, death, rebirth. We know now that Violet was life, she died, and then gave birth to the twins. Oh, so cool. Always was quite amusing. And the way he says it too. Was quite amusing. Brother killed his sister, but the record seemed to show the brother never met his sister, didn't even know. So the tragedy was a catastrophe, a fate fucked up. Richard's losing sleep while his whole family's talked. Richard's losing sleep while his family's tucked up. So his family's sleeping in bed, and he's losing sleep. And the funny part is he's just trying to dull his own pain. And it's an interesting an interesting reflection, an interesting mirror here, because even though it's a different angle, you have Richard, which doesn't even look like the same guy. Like, that's how well they've done this. But he's got his phone next to him. It's not ringing. He's got, it looks like maybe his wallet out, just sitting there, right? But the reflection part that I find really fascinating is he's sitting on a couch watching TV, and Vincent's tale was very similar. You had Vincent sitting on, this is all Vincent's tale, I know, but Vincent was sitting on the couch flipping through, and all of a sudden you see Ren flipping through as Vincent. It's really cool the way that he does these parallels.
Richard's losing sleep while his whole family's talk.
I really respect and love the way that this was all released. But I really think it would have been really cool if Richard's Tales was released separately with all of the shorts that correspond interjected between this, right? So you would have the short, and then you'd have each of these little mini chapters in his story. I also like, this was really brilliant too, since we know Ren's decked out head to toe in white, you can see, because of the camera angle, that he's, instead of sitting there, he's standing right here over by the curtain. So it's almost like he's hiding just out of camera view, which is just, I think that's really clever.
The 5 stages of grief is a common psychological model, often used to provide reassurance to all those stricken by loss. For loss comes with a cost, like frostbite, shockingly.
Oh, I love that. He's explaining what the 5 stages are. But loss comes at a cost.
To provide reassurance to all those stricken by loss. For loss comes with a cost, like frostbite, shockingly cold, paving the road to decomposure, decomposing your soul. 1.
Decomposing your soul. Now he's breaking it down. 1. And I don't know who did the editing. I know Ren does a lot of his editing of, like, the mixing and stuff like that, the production side, but these videos are sick. Like, as a guy who enjoys editing videos and does that quite regularly, good stuff.
Denial, pretending for a while, reality retired.
Denial, pretending for a while that reality is retired, but everything is changing. So that's exactly what he was doing with the alcohol, right? He's just drowning he's in denial about all of it.
1. Denial, pretending for a while, reality retired, but everything is changing. Richie lost the will to smile.
So he doesn't know how to reconcile it. He's lost his will to smile. He's lost his will to drive on. Another one of these pause Rens.
Reality retired, but everything is changing. Richie lost the will to smile. How to reconcile when murdering a child. The second stage is anger, feel it bubbling the bile. Anger, damn the man that served the hand that wrote the plan. If God is will that's good and grand, then damn we all a damn forsake.
Oh my God. So this is so cool, because he's angry at himself, he's angry at the situation, but he's also angry at God. How could you let this happen to me? And I love that he just screamed in Richard's face, and the actor is so good, he didn't even flinch. Like, damn.
And that served the hand that wrote the plan. If God is will that's good and grand, then damn we all a damn forsaken by creation. Revelations, Richard cannot stand. The third stage is bargaining, begging God for second chance.
So you get mad, you yell at God, you swear at God, and then you feel bad. And so you're saying, help me, God, please. I'm bargaining here. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. We've all been to that spot, whether it's in grief or just in life when you're struggling. And if you fix this for me, I'll do that. Bargaining. That's not how it works. I don't know if whether you believe in God or not. I don't think divine intervention works quite that way, that you have to trade things. You know what I mean? It's not like that.
Lord, I know it is a reach, but I'm begging on my knees. Resurrect the boy James, resurrect the boy Screech. I'll devote my life to thee, I will live a life of peace. Stage 4 is depression.
This is really cool, because he goes from begging, literally on his hands and knees, to switching gears. The tone shifts, and he's depression. And I love what happens next, because it's so true. When you are deep in depression, and you don't even realize you've hit depression a lot of times, you just feel tired. Your whole body feels, you're tired. Your body feels expired. Sorry.
I'll devote my life to thee. I will live a life of peace. Stage 4 is depression. That's a lesson taught in grief. Depression, demonic like possession.
It is demonic like possession, because you just feel like Ugh, I don't have a spark for anything anymore.
The feeds upon this spark for life, no water is refreshed.
No water is refreshing. And that's crazy, because anybody who's been seriously depressed can, at some point or another, can tell you it is like you're just thirsty, but you just don't have the will to drink. Well, you know that water wouldn't help, and no sunlight brings warmth. That's because you're cold. You're just feeling cold all the time. You're feeling numb.
Depression, demonic like possession. The feeds upon this spark for life, no water is refreshing. No sunlight brings him warmth, no sleep will ever bring resting. His guilt and doubt are oh so loud, the silence sounds so deafening. Depression, the numbing of expression, the negative obsession, ruminating in oppression.
That's such a good point too, is when you are depressed, a lot of times you can't pull yourself out of it. That's why they say therapy is so important, is because it just keeps spinning, and it's oppressive. It's crushing,
Stressing is a lesson when your mind begins reflecting. That's stage number 5. 5 is acceptance.
I love that acceptance gets its entire own section of this video, because it's so beautiful. So good. His wife and his family are there for him. Well, his wife anyway, and so I assume his daughter is too, but she's there for him. They made it through this, and she was ready to leave him. Oh, God.
Souls get shaken up. The road's never quite ideal. But slow rise, dust it off, and let
Souls get shaken up. So in other words, it's part of the human experience that your soul gets shaken up, that you get a little bit roughed up and dusted up, and coming back from that is not easy ever. But they say that true growth doesn't happen but through some kind of discomfort or pain.
Souls get shaken up. The road's never quite ideal, but slow rise, dust it off. And let me tell you something, Richie, man, I'm proud, cause you pulled a stitch from the seam, the wound was open weeping. Felt like a regression, but that flesh was sat for healing. You wrestled imperfections, misdirections, what with demons. Most demons are a fallen angel, truth has double meanings. Perspective disconnects the trauma, trauma turns to lessons.
Perspective disconnects the trauma, trauma turns to lessons.
Biggest curse you'll ever face could be your greatest blessing.
That is so true. Another personal story for you here. A few years back, when my son was roughly 3, so probably about 8 or 9 years ago, we had an EF3 tornado come through, 177 mile an hour winds. We had to move our kids out of the house for about 3 months while they fixed up the house. And it felt so traumatic, because I yearned for normalcy for my kids. And it was so hard, because I didn't know if we were going to be going back to the same house, if they were going to demolish the house. Like, I didn't know what to expect, and it was so hard. But the reality is that time that we were forced to be together in a hotel room kind of brought us closer. And it definitely helped my wife and I, because we had no choice but to communicate and to know that no matter what happened, we were in it together. We had each other. That's all that we had. Thank God we had good insurance, and we were able to get everything fixed and taken care of, but it was a slow process. We actually, ironically, we moved back into our house on Thanksgiving. So, talk about having something to be thankful for, right?
Remember, in the darkest times, no need for second guessing. No path is ever linear, a stumble leads to stepping. You're a soldier, a scholar of life's sorrow, and day follows day. There will always be tomorrow when it gets colder. Whatever, it's only weather. Rain feeds the crops, let them grow, think clever. I'm so fucking proud of you, Richie, my boy. I know you're itchy, my boy, to get to work and deploy. Serve and protect my don, in for the right reason. I know you think you've done wrong, but look at who you become. It's your first day at work, big man. Hold that head up high, my friend.
You don't have any choice but to be proud of this guy. Like, you've seen the hell this man has gone through, and you have no choice but to be proud of him. Like, you know him. Ugh.
Right reason. I know you think you've done wrong, but look at who you become. It's your first day at work, big man. Hold that head up high, my friend. Come on. We're all proud of you, Richie. I hope you get out there and smash it.
We're all proud of you, Richie. I hope you get out there and smash it. And I mean that.
I mean, what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? God, that's cool. I mean, seriously, now I see why you guys wanted me to continue down this path of the tales. I desperately need to go to what's next. Now, I understand you guys have told me I need to watch it, but there are several shorts that go before Starry Night, Night 1, 2, and 3. And from what I've heard, originally these 3 shorts were released before the before the premiere of Starry Night. So that's fascinating to me. And if I've learned anything from this experience of watching the Tales, the shorts that he does are the extended world. It kind of feels like Disney Plus. You know what I mean? Like if you're a big Disney guy or gal and you've watched the Infinity Saga and all that stuff, it's crazy because after a while you had to start watching Disney Plus or you wouldn't understand where your favorite characters were. And that's kind of what this feels like. I mean, these songs stand on their own. They tell a great story, but there's so much more depth and perspective when you check out these shorts. I'm just so grateful that you guys told me to check that out. So I definitely will be reacting to nights 1, 2, and 3 before Starry Night. Now, that being said, I did look ahead and those videos seem to be anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes long. So the Vincent's Tales, Starry Night, and those 3, that may end up being a pretty damn long video. So I hope you guys are strapped in with me. Comment I'm with you, and I'll know that, yeah, it's worth continuing on this journey and recording my trip into this. I can't wait for what's next. Once I'm done with all the Tales, I will put up another poll and figure out what you guys want me to do next. I've had a lot of great recommendations, and honestly, some of you have just said, do whatever you feel. Well, last time I did whatever I felt, it was Lunatic Lullaby, and that video didn't do very well. I'm going to be honest with you. It didn't do great, but that's okay. That song wasn't for everybody. So, it is what it is. I would love to get back and do the rest of the Asylum album. I did enjoy that quite a bit. I definitely want to do Money Game 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And I also I've been promising that I would sit down with my eldest child and react with them. And the overwhelming consensus seems to be that because I had asked for advice on something positive or something more upbeat, it was either Watch the Big Push, Back on 74, and Power were the 2 that were recommended. So I definitely will be checking that out with them. I'm not sure when quite yet, because I definitely want to finish the Tales first. But God, what a journey, guys. Thank you so much for coming with me. If you haven't already, do me a favor and subscribe. Give me the like.
Do all the things, you know what I mean?
And there's something about a super thanks or something. I just recently got monetized, and I've helped other people get monetized before, but I've never really done it for myself. So I have access to all this weird stuff. So if you want to support the channel, that's a nice way to do it. I appreciate that. And so shout out to all those who have helped me. So thank you so much. And until next time, take care of yourself and each other.